So the first game of Super Rugby round 8 sees the Hurricanes take down the Sharks 38-37. What a cracker. Hell of a match. Yeah, it'll probably be hard to top that in terms of tension, excitement, disappointment for lots of fans throughout the season. It was it went down to 5 minutes into overtime kind of thing. It was just a real tit for tat battle. Not as one-sided at all as kind of it was tipped to be. Just a thoroughly entertaining game all round. So it started on a weird note for me just because both teams were wearing their away strips. The Sharks were in white and the Hurricanes were in black. Why were the Hurricanes in black when it's a home game? Because it's in Napier? Because they haven't got a chance to sell those shirts yet? I didn't get it, but anyway, that's just me being picky. The Sharks started a bit scrappy. They had a line-out error. They had knock-ons, and it didn't take long after they scored an early penalty for the Hurricanes to be 12-0 out in front. And you're thinking, this is about right. The Blues aren't very good, and the Sharks, although they're improving, they're still going to get steamrolled by the Hurricanes here. That was only 15 minutes into the game. The Hurricanes were scoring at almost a point a minute, and you thought, this is only going to go one way. But it didn't. So the Canes were really struggling with the kickoffs that Bosch was putting up, and it was putting them under a lot of pressure. And I mean, in that first half, they conceded 27 points, which is more than the Hurricanes have given up to any team in 80 minutes all season, and this was within 40. So the Sharks had, 64% possession and 74% territory. So they had most of the ball and they were playing all down the Hurricanes' half. They were just well on top and the Hurricanes looked pretty lost. I should mention that Beauden Barrett didn't get to play. I think he was initially named, but had a bit of a tight calf, so they played Ehire West instead. And TJ Perenara went off after just before half-time. So I think they looked a bit vulnerable without these guys. There's definitely a difference in the team when they haven't got those guys. And they looked like, the one thing about the Hurricanes is they've got a great back line and they can punish you from pretty much anywhere at any time. But if they ain't got the ball, they can't do much. And the Sharks were really showing that in the first half. Just maybe the size of their forward pack, the Sharks was just kind of bossing things and just keeping the ball. So the Hurricanes couldn't do nothing because they had no ball. But I mean, even then, the halftime score was still only 27-19. So for a team which hadn't had that much ball and were playing mostly in their own half, that still scored 19 points. So that's what I mean by they can kind of hurt you from anywhere. I mean, in the second half, both teams kind of saved a few moments. Either they stuffed it up themselves or the other team did something to kind of stifle a move. So both teams had plenty of chances to score, but we didn't see much in the way of action in terms of tries in the second half. So for the Sharks, man, they gave a turnover from a scrum because the ball just came out too quickly and the Hurricanes got it. They had a line out and they just turned it over. For the Hurricanes, Almore was 7 meters out and probably could have run to the line, but knocked it on from a line-out move. Arso was turned over by Robert Dupria, 5 meters out. Both sides would just not let the other team score. There were 5 lead changes in this match overall, and one of them in the 85th minute. So, yeah, it was really, really back and forward. I think if you're a Sharks fan, you probably look at some of the penalty count was 15-5, and you probably look at some of that stuff at the breakdown, maybe where the Sharks were getting pinged and the Hurricanes not getting pinged, and you'll be a bit sore. If you're a Hurricanes fan and if you'd lost, you'd probably be looking at those TMO calls for those tries and going, I don't know, can you be sure that was a try? So neither side, whoever lost this game was not going to be happy, put it that way. For the Sharks, though, I think if they'd offered you a bonus point against the Hurricanes before the game, you'd have taken it. So, I mean, it's a really heartbreaking result. Even as a neutral, I was kind of heartbreaking for the Sharks right on full time there because, I mean, if you'd offered them a bonus point with 1 minute to go, they wouldn't have wanted it. because they probably should have won. But man, those Hurricanes, just how many phases did they go through to go from their own 22 all the way into the Sharks' half before getting that first penalty? There was just, I think, about 20 phases, and then they still had to keep going and didn't knock the ball on. It was an amazing kind of show of like mental fortitude and just skill, because it's those high pressure situations that you often see guys make silly mistakes they might not ordinarily make. And perhaps we saw a bit of that from the Sharks with some of the penalties that were going on and then the yellow card right at the end. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's the result that was expected, in that the Hurricanes got a win. The margin and the way they did it was definitely not on the cards. So real credit to the Sharks for pushing them all the way. They're such an improved side from the way they started this season. It's kind of night and day. Hopefully they can build on this going forward and not get too down that they lost it right at the end. Hopefully they can realise they played away to a possible championship team and almost had them. So not quite enough for the Canes. Just like encouraging for them that they can still be down with 79 or with 83 minutes gone and still manage to find a way to win. So definitely positives to take for both teams. Entertaining match all round. Probably a good one to watch if you're a neutral. Pretty kind of heart-wrenching or heart attack-inducing stuff if you're a home or away fan in this one. So yeah. Canes go on to play the Chiefs next week, and you got to feel like they'll probably need to step their game up. And for the Sharks, they go home to South Africa, play the Bulls. Yeah, you got to think they're going to be confident after their last two results. Just that progress through on. If they keep on that way, then we should expect a lot more from them. Hopefully, they don't kind of slump once they get back home. We will see. What did you guys think of the games? If you're a Hurricanes fan, how fast was your heart beating? Pretty chuffed to get the result. If you're a Sharks fan, sorry. It happens sometimes. At least you beat the Blues last week. Gave them a hiding. Still scored 60 points. And you put 37 points on the Hurricanes, which nobody's got close to doing this season. So, kudos. Yeah, did everything but win it. Anyway, that's it from me. I need the one game tonight, and I'll talk to you guys again for the ones tomorrow. See you later.